maybe food, vitamins, but most of all, try to obey what government is suggesting or ordering you to do. Huwag kayong matakot, huwag kayong manervyos, pero wala pang sabi ko antidote nito. It would only come in a form of a vaccine. Kagaya ng kagating kayo ng aso, tapos there is the tawag nilang rabies or rabies, if you may, pang-away. Sarili rin yung it's a form of the germs, immutate lang to fight, to warm our bodies, magbigay ng signal sa katawan natin na merong mga germs na pumapasok sa katawan mo, and the only way to fight it is to yung mga sundalo na tawag nila antibodies, yung pang-away mo sa mga madudumi, mga kagaw germs, sila yung ma-alert at sila yung papatay ng virus. But until now, wala pa ho yan. So, nandiyan na yan. It's a serious one. It is true, huwag ninyong maliitin. Do not minimize it. I said, but do not kill yourself with worry, because government is doing everything possible to make it at least controllable. But kung kayo po ay mag-cooperate, pag hindi kayo na-cooperate, the problem would start, and it would start with you and end with you pagka ganon. So, yung mga sinasabi na social distancing, sundin lang po ninyo, at yung mga binibigay na well ahead ng Department of Health, sundin ho ninyo kung anong sinasabi ng mga doktor, kasi sila po ang marunong yan. Ang military, ako, lahat na hindi doktor, walang alam, wala kaming maitulong sa inyo. It's only the medical people and medical experts who can help us. So listen to them. Dito sa atin, it's Secretary Duque, and Secretary Duque would articulate kung anong nalaman niya, anong bago na pumasok na impormasyon, and he would tell us what to do. So it's very important to give credence to what he says. Ang importante niyan, sumunod kayo, at meron ho kaming itong task force, interagency to, kasali na ang military pati police, kasi kailangan namin ang tulong nila kung sakali man lalala talaga to. Maybe this would create a public disturbance, disorder, but tingin ko hanggang dyan lang naman, kasi I know that you want to follow because you want to help everybody, including yourself and your family. Meron ho kaming resolution ngayon, but maybe I will convert this into an executive order para masunod talaga lahat. Ang sinabi dito, ang una, resolution is yung a province quarantine is advised when there are at least 2 positive COVID-19 cases belonging to different municipalities, component cities, or independent component cities in the same province, ito ng national capital. Nang isang probinsya. Yun ang definition kung ano yan. Ito namang LGUs which have imposed community quarantine in the respective jurisdiction upon the declaration of the state of calamity shall be allowed to access the equipped relief response. Ang ibig sabihin ho, yung ano ninyo sa probinsya ninyo which you have prepared can now be utilized to the fullest with the help of the national government. Itong isang work in the executive department, yung departamento ko, yung akin, kasi tatlo yan. Department, executive department, ako. Then, Congress is another department. Independent to yan. Hindi kailangan sumunod yan. May sarili sila kung gusto nila. And the other department actually is the judiciary. Magkaiba kami, pero tingin ko ang mga trabahante sa lahat sa gobyerno na may alam kung anong mga bagay, public works, tourism, nandito sa departamento ko. Yung public health, nandito sa akin, so sila yung inutusan kong mag-aral at ito nga yung mga resulta namin. So work in the executive department shall be suspended during this period. Walang trabaho, suspended sila, walang pumasok, without prejudice to the formation of skeletal workforces of government by government agencies in order to maintain the unimpeded delivery of services to the public. Ibig sabihin sa mga opisina nasyonal, walang trabaho pero may mga skeletal, yung mga few employees, volunteer or selected na sila ang muna tuman before, ika nga, sila yung papatakbo ng departamento but with a reduced workforce. Ito namang flexible work arrangement shall likewise be encouraged in the private sector. The Department of Labor and Employment and the Department of Trade and Industry shall issue guidelines to safeguard the welfare of workers. All manufacturing, retail, and service establishments are advised to remain in operation during the period, provided that strict social distancing measures are required to be observed by the respective management. Ibig kong sabihin sa privado, labas sa gobyerno, ang trabaho tuloy-tuloy, pero ganun rin, reduce, ang skeletal pa, medyo lang, yung pinili lang, at yung walang mga sakit, magtatrabaho sila, but ang may-ari ng factory o anong klaseng negosyo mo, warehouse, see to it that they are taken care of by the mga management. Huwag ninyong hayaan ang mga trabahante ninyo. Mass public transports, including the light rail transit, the metro rail transit, and the Philippine National Railways shall continue in operation. Tuloy-tuloy ang trabaho ninyo, provided the Department of Transportation shall issue guidelines to ensure social distancing in said public transport. Ibig sabihin, tuloy-tuloy ang trabaho ninyo, pero social distancing, yung distansya mo to the other fellow, medyo malayo. Kasi yung pag ubos siya, o umatching,
hawa-hawa tayo dito.
at least, ang yung germs niya, hanggang doon lang, hindi niya maipasa. because there is the distance. Kaya it behooves upon the transportation department to come up with the guidelines based on what the health department orders. Lahat dito po, ang pinaka-importante, pinakatigas, ika nga, ang Department of Health. Kung ano man ang gagawin natin, kung anong utusin nila, iutos nila para sa atin, susundin talaga natin. Hindi ako, hindi si Dr. Duque ng DOH. Land, domestic air, and domestic sea travel to and from Metro Manila shall be suspended beginning 15/2020, March 15, 2020, and to end on April 14, 2020 sa alas 12, subject to the daily review by the Interagency Task Force. So, walang lumipad. Ang mga travel is limited. Pero itong mga railways sa baba, okay yan. At the same time, observe again social distancing. Pero sa aeroplano po, beginning March 15, 2020, March 13 tayo ngayon. 12. Oh. March 15, midnight, from, it takes its force and effect. So, tandaan ho ninyo yan. Pero subject again to review day to day. Tingnan namin kung ano ang nangyayari. Kung if there is slowdown in the contagion or gano'n yan medyo mawala lang ng kanya, that is the history of itong mga sakit na ito. They come and go in every 2 or 3 generations. Meron talagang problema itong binigay sa atin at wala tayong magawa. Ito yung talagang trabaho nila, the Code Alert System of COVID-19 Public Health Event is hereby raised to Code Red Sub-Level 2. The Department of Health has to explain to the public itong wherewithals ng Code Red Sub-Level 2, which is the highest sa prescribed ng WHO. Medyo nandito na tayo sa maximum. And it is really for the protection of humanity. The recommendations of the Department of Health Technical Advisory Group in imposing stringent social distancing measures in the National Capital Region are adopted for a period of 30 days from the issuance of this resolution, with salient points, yung mga importante, of which are as follows. Yung mga importante na nakalagay doon sa social distancing measures. The suspension of classes in all levels in Metro Manila is hereby extended until April 12, 2020. It's almost about a month. Ngayon, so walang klase Pwede kayong magbakasyon dyan lang sa bahay. Avoid, I'm sure may mga bagay-bagay dyan sa bahay na hindi pa ninyo nakita. If I were a student, estudyante pa rin ako noon, I would avoid yung mga bar, ano dyan, mga nightclub, maraming tao, where people congregate, tapos nandyan malapit kayo. Mag-ubo yung isa, mapasa niya. Pag nakuha mo, nag-ubo ka, pasa mo rin doon sa kabila. So they try to avoid people, crowds. Yun, for your own protection. Huwag kang, may mga tao kasi, nang sabi, wala yan. Kung patay ka, patay. Tama. Pero kung patay ka rin talaga. Wala rin tayong magawa. So, kaawa naman ang nanay, pati tatay ninyo. So, better just stay within the premises of the house. If I were you, alam ko na kung anong gawin ninyo. Bigyan kayo ng cellphone na marami. Wala namang kayo ginawa kung hindi magtulbok-tulbok rin dyan. I mean, everywhere that I look. Dito sa walang pakialam ng tao. Sige, nandoon na sa cellphone. So, we are reduced to a one village. Mas malapit. Instead of talking, you have your cellphone. And that is a benefit which was not given us during our time. Number 1, ito, the suspension of classes in all levels in Metro Manila is hereby extended until 2012-2020, provided that all students shall continue to fulfill their educational requirements during said period. Anong ibig sabihin? Kung wala kang magawa, sabi ng gobyerno, mag-aral ka. Pero ito, hindi ko inaasahan susunod din ninyo. Ang sigurado ako, yung kamay ninyo, nandyan sa cellphone yan, instead of studying. I'm
Narinig
sure of
mo?
it. But for you guys,
sabi daw mag-aral, kahit nakabakasyon.
You better make use of the time
Hindi yung
to study.
TikTok ng TikTok.
Because, alam mo, mga anak,
Tutok-tukan
yung mga
kita.
bata, kayo yung mga tanda
Tulbok
hindi
ng
makalabas
tulbok
ng bahay.
sa cellphone.
Then you make all sorts of excuses.
Pindot ng pindot
But you know,
sa Tagalog.
there will be truant officers. Ano ang truant? Yan it's an American practice. Pag makita ka sa labas, pasakay sa palaboy-laboy ka lang dyan, wala kang ginagawa, sisigaw-sigaw kayo, kalapitan kayo ng police pati military, tatanungin kayo, then you have a problem. Pag sinabi mo na wala, nandito lang kami sa labas,
Katambay lang.
and then, maybe, if you are arrogant, nagdadalhin ka sa station for record purposes. But you are disobeying, that you are intransigent, and that you are not fulfilling your duty. Alam mo, baski na there are a set of rules governing the responsibilities of a Filipino citizen. Baka hindi nyo alam yan. Meron yan. So, you have duties to perform also. Avoid trouble with the law, avoid trouble with anybody, just in the meantime, follow. Better just stay home and study. That is my advice. So, kung ayaw ninyong sundin, you stick with your cellphone, ang gagraduate niyan, ang cellphone mo, hindi ikaw. Wala tayong magawa. Mass gatherings defined as a planned or spontaneous event where the number of people attending could strain the planning and resources of the community hosting the event. shall be
Dams ko.
prohibited during said period. Yung
Kaya
mga
pala
plano,
parang
whether
panin
nakaplano kayo ng meeting
ngipin
o
ko.
may rally,
Para namamaga.
either naplano na ninyo, spontaneous na, sige, ano tayo, gawin ito natin, total, wala na rin tayong gawin, ganito na ang magsayawan na lang tayo. You know, I do not want anybody interfering in your enjoyment as a citizen of this republic. Ayaw ko na masita kayo ng police pati military. It could be messy. Kasi yung iba sa inyo suplado. And itong mga police pati military, they have their orders to enforce. So that if you are in this category of a grupo kayo tapos magmalapit, yung social distancing is no longer obeyed, and yeah, you are violating the rules, and if you insist, it is one of a just mere confrontation to something like disobedience, which is punishable under the revised penal code. Kung makipag-away ka, it becomes baka masuntok mo then it becomes an assault on an agent of a person in authority. In which case, from a simple violation of the rule, it will now ripen into a crime that is punishable by law. And you can go to prison. That's the problem. Ayaw ko. Ayaw ko na masita kayo ng military pati police. But ako sa inyo, if you are advised, just obey. Wala namang mawala sa inyo. Total sa inyo yan eh. It's for your own good. Hindi naman ito para sa amin. So I hate it. But you have to do it because there is a crisis that is engulfing the country right now. Community quarantine is hereby imposed in the entire of Metro Manila. And in other areas, the LGUs are advised to abide by the following guidelines, imposing localized community quarantine in the respective jurisdiction. For Manila, ayaw namin gamitin yan, pero kasi takot kasi with lockdown. But it's a lockdown. There is no struggle of power here. Walang away dito, walang gira. It's just a matter of protecting and defending you from COVID-19. That's about it. It has nothing to do with the power of the military or the power of the police, nor or my power, this guy is beside me. Hindi yan. It's not an issue of, it's just an issue of protecting public interest and public health. Yun lang. A barangay-wide quarantine is advised with at least 2 positive COVID-19 cases belonging to different households in the same barangay.
15.
Kung sa
Hanggang
isang
April
barangay may
15.
dalawa na infected, medyo i-quarantine na ninyo yung barangay ninyo. Kaya itong problema sa dalawa, sabihin na
Labas-pasok ang
the barangay captain.
Sarado.
The barangay captain is under the administrative code, is a person in authority. That's why kung makipagsuntukan ka ng barangay captain,
Suspended din naman ang klase.
Enforcing the law o awayin mo.
Kaya walang graduation magaganap.
Pareho ang kasalanan.
Hindi mo kailangan magmadaling umuwi.
Metro Manila lang eh.
Person in
Metro
authority.
Manila lang, sa parting probinsya, tuloy ang pasok
Ang
eh.
barangay captain.
Sa bagay, tuloy pa rin ang klase sa probinsya.
Teachers, because of the nature of their work, are persons in authority. Because they are made so by the law itself
Pag hindi,
to give them the stature in relation to the work of trying to mold and teach the Filipino students. Kaya ang teacher rin, kung utosan ka, sunod ka, pareho sa barangay
Kaya
captain.
yan.
No, if the barangay captain would ask the teachers to help in the enforcement, you better obey. Because they are in the exercise of teaching the persons there of the barangay of the dangers is part of the role. Then you have the municipality, citywide quarantine is advised when at least 2 positive COVID-19 cases belonging to different barangays in the same municipality. Kung sa munisipyo kayo, tapos isang barangay dyan, may dalawa na tinamaan ng COVID-19, diagnosed to have COVID-19 infection, magka-quarantine na rin kayo. And, before I forget, wala tayong, I do not have enough soldiers and policemen to cover all over every inch of the country. Kulang ako. Meron ako na magamit ko ang barangay captain. Ang barangay captain is bound by what is written here, whether by way of rules implementing in the meantime or if it becomes part of an executive order. You better implement this, because if not, then you will also go to prison for dereliction of duty or simply not enforcing a rule imposed by government. Actually, ang dito yung mga barangay captains. It falls upon your shoulders to exactly do what this regulation wants to happen. Huwag kayong magkamali dito, kasi pag hinabol kayo ng Department of Interior and Local Government, you can be dismissed or you can be suspended and you'll have trouble. And besides, I think the electorate will remember you for being a laggard. Been elected, you sought the position. Hindi naman tayo, pinili natin to eh. Nobody ordered us for us to be to where we find ourselves now. Natapos tatamad-tamaraw ka. That's not the way how to do it. One is you go to, there's a good case against you, you lose the position and you are dismissed. And maybe in the worst case scenario, you'll go to jail. Better be always be reminded of that duty. Pinili mo yan, huwag kang magtamad-tamaran kasi matatamaan ka. Ginusto mo yung posisyon,
Tali mo na
magtrabaho
ngayon,
ka.
de. Diyan sa labas.
The aforesaid measures shall be subject to close monitoring and reassessment after the expiration of 7 days from the issuance of this resolution. You know, we will review. I have imposed upon the cabinet members and the entire members of this task force to be present every day. I know that it is hard for them. It is really an imposition. It's quite maybe a burden. But gano'n rin ang sinabi ko sa kanila. Nandito tayo sa gobyerno. You choose to be a part of government. And there is a crisis with no solution in sight. Walang solusyon. Unless there is a vaccine by the grace of God na may makita o may maimbento ng ating mga scientists. It could be the Philippines for all you know. But I'm just telling you what you're supposed to do. Ang isa is the LGU outside of the National Capital Region, yung labas ng Metro Manila, are advised to exercise sound discretion in suspending classes in the respective localities without prejudice to a determination by the national government to suspend classes if the situation so warrants. So, ang LGUs, may kunting kayo, leeway, and just a little elbow room para makagalaw kayo to respond to the crisis in the community. But it does not allow you to suspend classes on trivial and for, stupid reasons. It is only done because you have to protect them from the COVID-19. Yan lang talaga. Do not do it just to please everybody. Or, sa bagay, I have full faith and confidence in our supervisors, teachers. I'm just saying that please do not do it the way the Armed Forces of the Philippines, in coordination with the Interagency Task Force, shall be called upon to ensure effective and orderly implementation of the above mission.